All right, cool. We are back. I am Anubix. I'm going to pass it to my left. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, everybody. I'm Michael Gaucher with michaelgaucher.com, as well as my YouTube channel at Michael Gaucher, where I talk about a variety of tech topics, as well as spirituality, holistic living, and just general weird stuff. And so I'm glad to be here with my friends from 4Nubix, as well as CERD.
What's up, guys? Jesse Bentley, aka CERD. Find me at jessebentley.com, and yeah, that's about it. Mark.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Mark. I'm an operator with Black Lantern Security. I'm also our lead instructor, so I handle a lot of the conferences, a lot of the public appearances, all that fun stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark, for being here. Everybody else as well. Today, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're actually going to have Jesse kick it off. He had something he was just talking about, so we'll jump into that. Go ahead, Jesse.
I'm actually trying to pull a list right now. So what we were discussing is AI-assisted hacking, and something that I brought up was we're seeing more and more examples of when, after the initial foothold, people are using AI to do their lateral movement and data exfiltration. And this query is going super slow. And I'm actually curious what you guys think on this side of things, because personally, I believe human in the loop is going to be the future of AI pen testing. But I'm curious where you guys land on it.
I do take the viewpoint maybe slightly different from the panel, in that I do see it being more automated and there being less humans in the loop in this particular part of it, right, in terms of technology automation. And the reason I say that is because I think it's, and this may be trivializing a little bit, but I think it's easier to find flaws than it is to fix flaws. And so for fixing them and doing remediation, I think you need some experts and subject matter experts to really get in there and fix that. But in actually to find flaws, to find things that are broken, I think that's far more easy and far more efficient to automate.
See, I don't think I disagree with you that the automation is necessarily easier on the attacking side. I think that as we look at more and more cybersecurity companies are coming out with like AI, ASM, or are doing this continuous pen testing model, where AIs are just going and I think AI is just a souped up Nessus scan. It's a Nessus scan, but with actual context as to what you're going on to. Where I disagree more so is that I think the need for a human in the loop or a need for a SME on the offensive side is just as much needed as on the defensive side. Because while an AI can go through and it can run, your OWASP checks, it can run SQL map for days, it can run all your automated tools. What an AI can't do is identify potential logic errors in the app. Like, okay, cool, you have this weird priv-esque path on this web app where it's like, okay, cool, I can force browse to this admin endpoint, and then I can set myself as an admin from here and then go and do this other thing. The AI may not be able to actually put out that full attack chain. Some may be able to. I haven't played with like Mythos or any of those cool ones, but I know from my experience of using like basics of like Cloud Code, using Opus to plan, and then using Sonnet as a to actually do the thing, because I feel like everyone on this call probably runs out of tokens on a regularly scheduled basis. So, but I think that that's where a SME on offensive security really gets their stuff done, is that while, yeah, all of my basic checks are covered, that just gives the SME on the offensive side time to really dig in. So like whenever I'm testing web app, we got 1 week, right? And so I'm given source code. And so at that point, I'm like, AI, chuck it at the source code and just forget about it. And while the AI is chucking at source code, I'm like, all right, cool. Let me run through my logic flow and be like, all right, cool. How does the customer use this app? Because I think that's where pen testers are now going to shift to finding value. Is it's going to be like, okay, cool. The customer is using the app in this manner. Okay, this is intended functionality. How can I abuse the intended functionality for the customer? And so I think it's going to be shifting more and more to going towards logic flaws, whereas being just raw, like, yeah, it's vulnerable to SQL injection kind of deal.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I agree as well. And then also like in the context of just like understanding the vertical that you're in, right? Or they're in, so to speak, right? Like, so if they're in fintech, like what are some of the regulatory requirements that are needed? What are some of the things that some of the vulnerabilities that are active now that would be exploited within that vertical, right? Like, because for example, like if you're within the hospital or like under HIPAA or anything like that, you're not necessarily concerned about something happening in fintech unless it falls under the umbrella of what you do, right? You focus on whatever regulatory body falls under what you do. So I think AI will help with that as well. It's just like for individuals, maybe even a junior individual new, who's not familiar with PCI, right? Like get them up to speed, kind of, do his checks and balances from that perspective to actually add some more context as well. All right, Jesse, looks like you found it. I'm just looking over it right now. Did you guys get that?
I dropped it in the meeting chat there. So the write-up on it came out on the 1st. They used an LLM to go through everything. And Microsoft did a write on it. Prompts become shells, basically. Trying to find it.
On top of that, while we wait for that, what about DEF CON for this year? Anybody have any plans for DEF CON? Like, what are you guys looking forward to? If you do have plans.
I
Don't all
mean,
jump
I
in the
plan-
heads.
I plan to hear all your great stories about DEF CON.
Exactly.
I will be spending a lot of time in the social engineering village this year. So that is my only plan this year, is to go through and hopefully do some cold calls. We have our first set of physical pen tests happening at the end of this year, and so we gotta brush up on that for sure. And then Black Lantern will be hosting a workshop at the Recon Village. I'm unsure of time of that, but it's going to be over our tool Bbot. It's an open source recursive internet scanner. And so that'll be super duper cool. It's all about automating the OSINT kill chain down to just one command, running all of your initial checks through just one tool rather than using several and finding more things than all of your normal tools will. And Bbot on average finds, I think, about 20 to 30% more than majority of other subdomain enumeration tools. So it's super duper cool. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But that's the main thing I'm looking forward to, is getting that done.
Nice. And I mean, just me personally seeing like the growth of that tool from where it started to now is great, man. It's always good to see like when tools last. The biggest thing is when you see that on GitHub, it's all archived and everything, and you're like, man, but it works so good. And it's like, it's always good. Any advice for individuals might be their first time at DEF CON, or maybe something to check out if they're going for the first time, or even if returning?
From my experience, I would always never try to do everything. If you go into DEF CON and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to this village, go to this village, go to this village, your day is gonna get ruined so fast. So quick. Go in with a loose plan and just be like, all right, cool. If I see, like, I usually try to go to like one talk a day, because the reason why there's a line con chat in DEF CON is not for no reason. You're gonna be waiting in lines for majority of it. So like, if you want to go to a talk, make sure you're in line early, of course. But like, also go check out, I think there like is a noob village / community. I don't know how that works. I don't know what the difference is between a community and a village, but regardless, I was helping out there last year. And so if you are a beginner or somebody who may have just started out in tech, they had a CTF going on last year. They gave away like 100 or so prizes that were relatively like good prizes, like silver on Hack the Box for a year. All this other really, really cool. They gave away a lot of pen tester lab stuff. It's run by, what is his name? I have him on LinkedIn. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Yeah, it's run by Mason. Yeah, it's run by Mason. He's a super duper cool guy. But I would definitely check them out, especially if you're looking for an an easy CTF to do, just knowing that I tried my hand at the red team CTF last year and got absolutely clobbered. So like if you're looking for like a good intro level CTF, that's probably the best bet to go in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely check out New Village, Josh Mason, good buddy of mine. Good calls, and DEF CON can be overwhelming. I know my first year, I always talk about it, was like drastic. So you definitely want to go and check out something like the New Village. That's a little bit more calm, so to speak, than the other outfits of DEF CON. But yeah, just with like about a month away, man, is there anything going in this year in regards to DEF CON that you feel is going to be different? That just like trend wise or anything that you can see so far?
Nothing I've seen yet. I'm waiting for the villages to release a lot more of their talks, just because a lot of them haven't been announced yet. But I have a really good feeling we're going to see a lot more AI, of course, just because that's the hot thing right now. I have a good feeling we're going to see a lot more of like continuous pen testing vendors, like that kind of deal. I have a really, really good feeling it's going to be a lot more of that this year than in past years.
Is anybody else geared up to go to any other cons, any B-sides, anything like that this year? Anything else you guys are looking forward to?
Simply Cyber, Hack Myrtle, and then Hack Redcon probably.
Mike?
Yeah, it's still tentative for me. Just seeing how things lay out in terms of scheduling and all the other things that are going on. But if room does become available, you'll definitely see me at one or two of these conferences that are coming up.
Is there any tools that are not out that you guys like, oh man, I wish I had that tool?
Well, I kind of like the tool that Mark is talking about, the initial scanner to look at just your basic vulnerabilities. I think that's very, very useful for a broad range of software developers.
Yeah, Bbot is open source. It actually is, majority of it is made by the community at this point, which is amazing and great because it means that our devs don't have to spend as much time developing modules. And the Community Plus has been making some really, really cool modules that we would not have even thought of. There's one guy, I think he's in Australia. I don't remember his name. I met him last year at DEF CON. But he made like 4 DNS modules that frankly blow my mind. But yeah, no, Bbot is entirely open source. You can find it on Black Lantern Security's GitHub. It's super cool tool. I could talk all day about it. I do a lot of con talks on Bbot. I get very excited about it, but
Well, you're involved in open source. I'm going to start a rant here probably. How do you feel about like the Linux Act Rights thing?
I don't think I've read into it. What do you fill me in?
Where it's open source,
man.
but they're not going to give you anything open about it. All of the updates, commits, and everything are going to be private.
Oh.
Yeah, so Linux Rights is basically when you got all these big corporations, these big companies, they say we need to come together, and because of Mythos and all of the stuff that's going on with agentic AI to find a new vulnerability every day, we need to actually patch up the kernel and other fundamental open source projects, and we need to do it in a way where we don't disclose to the community or to others initially what we are doing to patch up said vulnerabilities and release that in a much more silent way. And many are saying that that is contrary to the open source values.
Oh yeah, that's messy. I haven't heard about that beforehand, but that's interesting as to I don't understand why not be full transparent on how they're fixing things. That's more so my thing. In the sake of transparency in open source projects, like there was one company that found some CVEs in Bbot, actually, funny enough, in a hacker tool. That's like their entire company structures. They go through these hacker tools and they find CVEs in them. And so I'm curious as to why like they didn't go through and like in the interest of transparency, like Black Lantern, we released like a blog on it. We gave them their CVEs. We told everyone when it happened, like full disclosure on everything. And so I'm like, I don't understand why don't other companies do the exact same thing where it's like, okay, cool. If you find something, that's fine. I don't think it should with Mythos. I think it's going to become more and more regular to find things like that. Like, you know, if you sit an AI on anything for too long, eventually you're going to find something. And so I don't see the point in hiding how it seems like that would only hurt the process more of like a bug bounty hunter or somebody trying to ethically do it and like responsibly disclose those things. It seems like it would only hurt them more if they don't know how you're fixing things or how you're implementing them in the first place. So,
and what it's showing and what it's revealing is that among the enterprise companies, there's still some old thinking of security by obscurity.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the companies that are behind the movement, it's literally OpenAI, Anthropic, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA. I mean, it's the companies that caused the problem in the first place.
And many of the companies you're listing off, they traditionally have liked to close a lot of their projects up.
I mean, Microsoft's had the whole fight with the security researcher recently that's disclosing.
I was just going to ask you
zero
any
days.
update on your what is the name? I always like fudge that up. What is the name?
It's Nightmare Eclipse, man.
Yes, Nightmare Eclipse. Yes.
Can't forget the anime avatar.
How is that going? Is that any updates? Is he dropping another 0 day tomorrow?
I haven't seen anything since the last 0 day that dropped. That's been a couple weeks ago. I think they dropped 6 or 7 0 days.
That's insane, man. That is
Because
insane.
Microsoft ghosted him.
Man, well, Marky Mark, I know you weren't able to come out to Hackspace. It really felt weird without you here this year.
it felt weird not going, dude. I didn't
Yeah,
have
it was.
I didn't have a CTF to go at this time, you know.
Yeah, it was so crazy. Like, I think I was more exhausted this time around than any other time.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Any
really
reason
weird.
you think for that? Was it just like a little more hectic this time, or?
I think just all the nerves from talking or whatever. Just weren't not worrying about it, but like more of like anticipation of like making sure that you do what you need to do. Yeah. Everybody understands that at the end of the day, man, like you're really trying to have fun, right? You're trying to do what you need to do, but at the same time have fun. But it's like it's super hot. It's in the middle of the day, right? You have all these faces you haven't seen in like since last year. You're trying to network and talk and all that, and it's you never have enough time, right? Obviously, it's nothing like DEF CON, like you said. Like, dude, like I learned real fast at DEF CON, like don't have any type of expectations, like you said, because it will be blown out the water, right? Like, hey, I want to go meet this person, see this person. Like, you're not gonna do all that.
Yeah, no, I'm very much so a big fan of the Hackspace and Hackreds. There is still, even whenever I'm speaking or not speaking, there's so much I feel like pressure on talking. At least still for me in my position is like I'm still like a little bit newer to it. I've done my con talks here and there, but like, it's not to the level of like, these guys who are on like DEF CON stages every year, the main big thing. And so like every single time I'm sitting there and I'll write my talk like a month out, like I'm supposed to, and then I'll go through the night before and I'm like, this is trash, rewrite the entire thing. And I'm just like, yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like it's hard to balance how much you can have fun while also being like, okay, on the flip side of this, like I have to represent the company well, you know what I mean? Because like, especially being like Black Lantern for me, whenever I go up on stage, like I'm immediately like representative of that. So I'm like, okay, gotta represent the company well, gotta make sure I say all the right things, make sure I don't sound like a dumb butt on here, you know what I mean? Like that's It's the main crux of it. Is like, how do I make sure of all those things? And then afterwards, you're like, all right, all I need now is like a beer and for no one to talk to me for like 5 hours, and then I'm good.
You mean you don't go on and then expect to be fired immediately after you come out of the talk?
Ah, dude, I get so stressed. So we've been doing these trainings at this college because we're gearing up to start doing like more 2-day trainings. You know, really starting to put our foot forward out there in conferences. And so we've been doing these trainings at colleges, and we've done that 3 or 4, and within the past year or so. You know, it's 2 days long, so it's a lot of content. It's like over 1,000 slides worth at this point that I've been heading down for the past like year and a half or so. And so I'm sitting there and I present it, and every single time I present it, I'm like just a ball of nerves like the first like hour. After the first hour, I'm like chilling. But like until that first hour is through, I am talking 50 miles a minute. Like there is no stopping me. It's rough.
For me, it's the opposite. Like I'm going super slow, like very like robotic. And then like, but that's only when I like write the stuff down. If I just like go from the top of the head, like, you know, and just bullet points, I'm fine. But it's like, but you want to do that. You want to have that documentation. You want to make sure, like, you know, all the bullet points that you know, went over initially, you go over it during your talk. But like, for me personally, yeah, that never works. So I'm focusing more on that now. Just, you know, keep going through it. The only way you're going to get better is to keep doing it, right? Like,
yeah.
So,
Exactly.
and getting past that stage of, you know, fumbling and fumbling and all that good stuff.
Exactly. I look back at my first ever talk, and it was like this fireside chat at HackRedCon. I had just graduated from college like 2 months before. I was a nervous wreck. For some reason, I thought inviting Ed Scotus to it was a great idea. He came, and he gave me great feedback afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, mad props to him for just being a G about it. Took me and a couple of my buds out to dinner afterwards, like talked to me about it for a while. And I was like, okay, cool. It's like, had a lot of work I needed to do, obviously. But like, I remember going from that and then like going to now, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like a 50-minute talk, I'm not as stressed about a 50-minute talk. Anything longer than 50 minutes, no holes barred. I don't know. But 50 minutes, we're fine.
Any advice to like people who are, you know, anxious, or, you know, who like, oh man, I want to do a talk, but maybe it's not the right time. Maybe I'm not experienced enough. Any feedback, anything that you could tell somebody else or tell your, you know, yourself if you started all over again? Like,
Let me rephrase this question for you. What advice do you have for me as I submit my talks for this fall?
Yeah, no, I was actually thinking about you because I remember you sending me your CFP. And I read through it and I was like, Jesse, this is a more detailed CFP than I've ever written.
I didn't realize I just had to send an abstract. I like fucking had everything detailed
Yeah,
out.
no. Jesse sent me this.
I mean, Jesse's over there
long
sending
thing.
thesis.
Yeah, exactly.
Thesis
And I'm
for,
like reading it. I'm
for
like,
CFPs.
I'm like, I don't even know what half these words fucking mean. I'm like, I don't know what this means, but like, it looks great. No, but for anyone who's ever submitting something for a conference, even if you don't think, like, half the time whenever I do talks, I'll just submit stuff that's fun. Like my first talk was on like cloud breaches. Know what I mean? And there's validity to every single topic that you can think of to submit to. I did my first talk on cloud breaches, and then the next one I did at Hackspace Con the next year was on like social engineering. Had I done any social engineering at that point? Absolutely not. Was I still gonna yap about it because I've been doing research on it? Yes. And so like anything that you find cool, odds are somebody else is gonna find cool. Now there are good conferences to submit to, and then there's, you know, not good conferences to submit to. If you're a first-time speaker, you know, obviously I would not recommend, unless you have like the biggest walls in the world, don't go submit to DEF CON for your first try. Like that, I'm gonna shit myself at DEF CON this year. You know what I mean? Like, just full disclosure, like, and I've been speaking now for like a year and a half, but like the Hackspace Con and HackRedCon are both really, really good environments to get started in. I know whenever I was first starting, like Dan and Ken and Zach and all of them gave me my first shot at a fireside, gave me my first shot at a full 50-minute talk. And I've like built a really good relationship to them to where, you know, like when I submit, I just shoot him a message on on Discord. I'm like, hey, just letting you know I submitted. And they're like, cool, got it, handled, donezoed. And I'm like, all right, cool. But conferences like HackSpaceCon and HackRedCon that are a little bit smaller, or even B-sides, they're really, really good places to get your feet wet on a not as big stage. Also, I would highly recommend bring a friend every single time. Like just one dude who won't make you laugh when you look at them. And just like, if you have to, just sit them right in the middle of the room and they're your comfort person. Okay. So you don't have to look at anybody else. You just look at them and nobody will feel like it's weird because you're just looking at the middle of the room. But then also it prevents you from like making the awkward eye contact with every single individual there. So that's what I'd recommend. Bring your bud.
See, my issue is all of my friends are going to be the ones making the funny faces.
Yeah.
100%, Jesse. At your first talk, I'm going to have like a sign. I'm going to put your head on like a foam stick for crying out loud. Like, oh yeah, we're going hard.
The funniest thing about it was like my first talk, Dr. Lewis was like the one who like, well, hey, kind of like led me into it, right? Said all this amazing, great stuff about me, and I was like, cool, man, thanks for setting the stage for me. And then at Hackspace, oh man, I was like, because I was thinking, man, how's he gonna one up? Because the night before he was like, I got you tomorrow. You just make sure you bring your game. He's like, I got you. I'm gonna give you the best intro you've ever got in your life. I was like, better than Hack Red? He was like, it's gonna blow Hack Red out the water. And I was like, I'm call your bluff. I should have never did that, man. He was up there on that stage, man. It was crazy. You can't mess with Dr. Lewis, man. That dude is a whole nother level of just, yeah. Shout out to Dr.
He's
Lewis.
A cool dude. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
And I'll throw in some other stuff for you. So, I've given speeches to audiences of a couple of thousand in, not the conferences that you guys deal in, but, one of the things that helped me, is to be part of the Toastmasters Club. And there's usually a Toastmasters organization in a city, in a nearby city. And so I would recommend joining Toastmasters. It's kind of a low key group to join, but they tweak your verbalization skills so that you come off with a little bit more polish. The other thing for 2026 is just to start a podcast or start a YouTube channel or Instagram, and just get in front of your camera and start recording and talking. Just little things like that definitely helps.
Yeah. That was what was that? Go ahead. Sorry.
I think my biggest public speaking thing's been arguing with people about project technicalities. Like 80 people in a conference room angry because somebody wants to do something differently. I'm hoping my talk is less hostile.
Isn't it funny how like it's always a problem? Like everybody has like their own like, obviously their own bias or whatever. They have their own opinion about something, but it's like nobody wants to take the actual ownership of the product or the project. They just want to have their little piece. And it's like, all that does at the end of the day is leave one individual with everything, right? Like someone's holding the bag at the end of the day. And that poor individual is the patsy. And it's usually not really good for them when it's all said and done. So, I mean, I don't want to say gone are the days where like, people actually cared about what they did, right? It's very few nowadays, right? And do I think AI is going to change that? Probably. I mean, it's going to speed up. I think what's going to happen is it's going to put individuals into 3 different categories, right? Individuals who are subject matter experts, right? Who or like fall into that category. And then, individuals who just was like, I'm good. AI is going to take over. I'm not going to have a job. And they like given up. Like I've seen it, right? And then the individual who just like, oh, we'll kind of see what happens when it gets here, right? There's always that group of individuals like, well, Y2K, if it comes, we'll deal with it when it gets here, right? And then so, you're at that point. So I think it falls into those 3 categories. What do you guys think? I
can't wait for the first AI project manager so that when IT gets mad, they just unplug it.
Oh, that's good.
That would be great. That would be great.
Realistically, The person that gets screwed in the end as far as large projects goes is generally the project managers or the PMs, because they're the ones that have to diffuse a situation and actually try to drive something forward.
Yeah, no, shout out all the PMs who do PM work. Their work is not easy. We had a PM come with us on this last engagement for Black Lantern, and I was just like watching them work, and I was like, I didn't even think about all these things, like how we get to these places and like all the logistics it takes to like make sure that there are like operators, we have staff and everything. I was like, that's crazy. But to your point, Richie, I do think there's going to be another like fourth classification of it. Is there are going to be those who think they can just ride the AI wave? You know what I mean? And I think we're going to have power AI users script kiddies. Know what I mean?
I already see them. What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's already a thing. But I think that's going to be the new like base, is because like we have script kiddies now who you only know how to run like 7 tools. But now it's just gonna be like, okay, cool, script kiddie, they just get like a little level up whenever they learn how to use AI for the first time. Like, oh, this is what Claude Code can do. Claude Code can just hack and finish a hack the box for me in like 7 hours. Easy.
Yeah, we're not gonna name those people.
But see, that's going to evolve the targets, because I think I saw on LinkedIn a conference in Texas. Their CTF was designed to make that the AI give you false flags if you started feeding it logs and stuff.
That's dope. I like that. That is dope.
And they would actually disqualify you.
That's sick. We've been talking about that at Black Lantern for so long, because we were like, oh yeah, we have like a hiring CTF, and it's like, I can't give too many details away on it, but it's like any other red team hiring CTF. We all know, we've all been through them. But we've been like throwing around the idea, like, well, do we allow them to use AI? Do we not allow them? Like, we can't really stop them, but like, we could throw some prompts in there 100%. Like, if they just chuck it at a web page, I'm putting some stuff in that white space. You know what I mean? I had a really interesting CTF last year at DEF CON that I did. It was the Code Breakers CTF. And the entire thing could not be finished by an AI. I was working on it with Errant Packet and one of my other buddies, Pato. And the first challenge was like a 26 by 26 grid of Chinese characters, with each row having 2 different Chinese characters on it that symbolized if the square was going to be black or white, and it was all down to a QR code. AI could not figure it out. Next stage was like a web app. You find the login page, and it's like, okay, cool. It's the password that Neo types into the matrix, and that's like matrix, or like it's like Zion 5. It's Zion 5, but 5 is in binary, and it's like, oh, but it's been a few years. So it was Zion 33 since it was DEF CON 33, so it's 33 binary. And then the last challenge was it was just like they just gave you a Word doc, and it was all this text in Farsi, and so Farsi is read from right to left instead of from left to right. And AI, fun fact, doesn't handle Farsi well. It cannot count the words in a Farsi sentence to save its life. There was like a white space, like prompt engineering on the bottom that would like throw some other thing that we found, and we were like, yeah, okay, just delete that. But like, it was a super simple thing that we were way overcomplicating. It was like, oh yeah, just count the letters in each like line and then rotate them, and then boom, you have the password now to get to this party. But I was like, it was a super cool CTF to do, because AI couldn't have done it. We tried chucking AI at it. Believe me, that 26 by 26 grid was still, AI was working on that thing for like 3 hours, and it could not figure it out.
Yeah, that was last year. I bet you run that same thing, it would have ate it up this year. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
It has gotten that much better in such a short period of time. But to your point, yeah, it was like just seeing. Oh man, what's the the CTF? What's the CTF that's like? They usually do one every like 2 weeks or every month. It got really big. Meta, yeah, Meta
Skillbit,
CTF.
Skillbit. It's Skillbit now, but
oh, it's okay, yeah. So
yeah.
I was kind of like tracing it or like monitoring it through that, because I seen like when Meta was at like Hack Red, right? Was that last year? I think it was the year before last year. And they were kicking up their CTFs like every month or whatever, and then like you would see okay, yeah, this individual's in this place, this, this group, blah, blah. And then like 6 months later, you start seeing like everybody's in this first group. You're like, oh, these are all the AI power users, right? Like, it's like it was all done like within the first couple minutes, right? It's like, okay, all AI stuff. And then like I know Jesse, was it was the conference right before Hack Space. I know you were doing a CTF and it was like all done, like somebody used AI and cracked it all right like before it even started or something. You remember that?
No, they hacked the infrastructure and started leaking everybody's emails and stuff. Dude, instead of starting the CTF as soon as it went live, he just compromised the infrastructure. He even made a custom challenge. I might still have a screenshot of it. Said, pwned your infrastructure, reward 1,000 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's changed so much. And then like to your point about the PM stuff, like when I was doing like the executive protection, right? To the same point, like how much stuff goes into an individual tied into your security. It's so like there's so much little nuance and so many different variables like you never think about, right? To that point of like PMs, right? Like even like a technical project manager, right? Like that leads more to like even what we're doing, right? I know leading up to for Hack Red when we were at Churchill Downs, all the stuff that went on behind the scenes, just trying to get that right, where you're at a venue where everybody's 3-piece suit, everybody's like dressed to impress, and we're at a venue, you're like, dude, we're a bunch of hackers. We're not doing that. It's crazy that would break the deal faster than, hey, this venue costs X amount of dollars. Like we got that. Don't worry about that. This is the thing that we're not budging on. We can't have a room full of hackers in suits. Like, it's just not that type of, gathering. So yeah, project manager, man, we people talk a lot of trash about them, but we love them. We love them. They get stuff done.
How do you
You're
feel
muted.
about that screenshot?
What screenshot?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
I put it in the Discord. Sent it on my phone.
That's crazy.
Nice. Infra has been. Nice.
FAO. That's
It
crazy.
was
I
funny
can't.
until they leaked everybody's email addresses.
Yeah, that's less funny, but
That's insane.
that's crazy, dude.
I got home. I was so excited. I sat down, booted it up. I got 2 challenges solved in like 15 minutes. Was going hard. Then it went down. I was like, oh no. When I saw what happened.
Meta CTF was actually my first CTF I ever did. Now that I think about it, was that actually Hack Red? Outside of like a CTF for like for a job or whatever, like a new hire CTF.
Marky Mark was with my first CTF. And my
Was you said what?
Yeah, we did that together. I forgot about that. Me, Jesse, and I'm blanking on her name. Please help me. It's Kat. Kat, yes.
Oh yeah, Kat.
Yes, Kat. It was me, Jesse, and Kat. We did the RF CTF for Dark Wolf, and we all had absolutely no clue what we were doing. No clue. None of us had touched RF before, and we were like, "All right, screw it. We're gonna try it. Why not?" And sure enough, Kat ended up solving, I think, the most challenges out of all of us. Which
Really?
was hella impressive. Huh?
Where is this at?
It was at Hack Space. It's at Hack Space, dude. It was like Hack Space last year, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Last year. When we got black badges?
Yeah. It was the Snack Space Con first year.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude,
That was the year like I was trying to do a CTF the whole time, but I was so busy. And then last minute, I was like, I'm getting a black badge. And I was like, we're getting a black badge.
Doing Hacker Jeopardy and we're winning, dang it.
It just, man, it was the funniest thing ever because like we were down. And then the other team were like, we'll bet it all. And it's like, go ahead, Roger that. And they messed up, man. Like it was crazy. That was it was fun.
We had luck on our side for sure on that one. I love CTFs, dude. I miss Hack Red Con and Hack Space Con CTFs because they were fun because they were winnable. I think right now I have 4 black badges to hack space and hack reds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could go for life. You and three of your
I
buddies.
could, yeah, me and 3 buddies can go for life.
Well,
Congrats,
actually,
guys.
you have a black coin too, right?
Yeah, I have a black coin too.
Yeah. So you got you and 4 buddies.
Yeah, we
4
have
or
4
5
buddies.
buddies. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. Yeah, no, I want to get back to it this year. I'm hoping for Hack RedCon this year. Me and funny enough, one of our PMs is actually helping us do our physical pen testing. And so she's coming to DEF CON, so you'll meet her there. But
Nice.
she me and her are submitting her first talk, which I'm helping with. It's gonna be something on social engineering. It's like the magic of a good pretext or something like that is what we're going with, or something like that. I don't know. We're workshopping it, but
This is for Hack Red.
yeah, it'll be for Hack Red this year. So
When's Hack Red? December?
I think it's like December
December
12th,
4th.
4th. I was off by a week.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
because
see.
I've been checking the paper submission almost daily.
Dude, it's down right now.
Is it?
Yeah,
Still
it's
there.
down. Dan, get it together. It's like the
Yeah.
account owner is no longer active. And I'm like, Dan, I need to get this done before DEF CON, please. Somebody, whoever's running it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we still have plenty of time though.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm not too pressed. We'll figure it out. It's a low key con. I love Hack Red.
you know, we'll spin it up a month before.
Good
As we
Q&A.
always do.
Yeah. No, it's fun. Man, you know, we people, you know, joke and laugh, but like until you've actually been a part of the process of what goes into even putting together a cybersecurity conference at the scale of even something on the lower side of 300 individuals, it's so much that goes into it. You know, like you don't really understand, you don't see, or you don't respect it until like, you know, you actually went through that process. And it's a lot, man. You know, when especially like majority of the time, these are not people's like actual job, right? This is like a side project, right? Like they don't just go to conferences, like or spin up conferences. So yeah, I tip my hat to all the individuals that's ever spun up a conference, man, because it does take a lot. All right, so we're at like 15 minutes till. Anybody have any other thing they want to talk about? Any last minute ideas that pop in the head? Mike, I see you. I know you want to say something.
Oh, I'm good, man. We're having a great conversation, capture the flag, all that good stuff. And, you know, we're looking at possibilities with AI in the future. So I think our vibe is good so far.
Mythos and Fable are back.
I don't even know how I feel about that.
Oh,
I didn't
dude.
see that. I don't know how I feel about it getting taken down in the first place.
Yeah, like
That's my main thing. Is I'm like, okay, guys, you'll let the Mythos preview go, but you won't let it like be full out. Like, come on.
Well,
Well,
it's back
think-
to those same trusted partners. And my favorite part was something I showed Richie earlier. What they used to take it down was the law for physical weapon exports. So they sent a letter and gave them 90 minutes, and they weren't even violating a law.
Yeah, export controls. And I think what is really prompted like a reverse in the entire decision is the fact that there's been discussion that China or some models from like China can now do the same thing that Mythos and Fable can do to some extent, you know, at least 90%, 95%. And so it's like, well, if they got the gun, then, you know, we might as well just keep developing ours.
But it's still released to the trusted partners. So it's still the same group under Project Glasswing. So what I'm curious about is when Daybreak goes public, which is OpenAI's version, same thing's going to happen there probably. And the Fable re-release, they had to add in they had to make it dumber. So they had to add more guardrails. And everybody's complaining about it now. So now they're changing to where, oh, this isn't going to be token only forever. We're going to add the subscription model to it. Trying to appease people. It's funny. And Fable is awful.
I will say I've not been too happy with Gemini over the last week or a week or so. It's been like not working properly for the last 2 weeks. Like just random, like it just getting hung for no reason. Resetting it, whether going into another gym or what have you. Like I don't know. Ever since like the AGY 2.0 like rollout, like when they made it where they totally dropped the old command line and just focused on this one, like it's just been having issues. But yeah, that's my little rant.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been using the Gemini suite for the last couple of weeks, and I've had the opposite issue. In fact, I've had tremendous success with it. Just plowing through it and tweaking the formulations, and the gems issue that I had about 3 weeks ago, that seems to have been resolved. And so they're just, it's typical Google. They're tweaking things in real time, and they're not telling you that they're putting out new flavors behind the scenes. But the Google AI Studio, I think, is something that is underreported. And I think that's a pretty good tool so far.
All right, since we got you on here, Marky, what's your favorite model, local or Frontier?
I use Claude for everything. I cannot get over. We have some what we're dubbing like the internal skills library. And so we have essentially the culmination of all of our like pen testing knowledge into like majority of like Claude skills, and it's all layered properly to where we could do things with it. And like we have fully bought into Claude. I'm regularly running out of my token limit within 5 hours. So most of the time I'm using Claude coupled with Claude skills, and yeah, that's my main choice. Sonnet for execution, Opus for planning. If you want to save tokens, that's how you do it.
Nice.
Sonnet for you.
So since you're a Claude guy, have you looked into the cert?
Is it like they're like Claude basic cert or something like that? Is that what you're talking about? I have not. I saw that it was a thing, but I haven't actually looked into it just because I hate being like, I'm too smart for that. But like the stuff that I can't say what we're doing internal.
I got you.
Yeah, but I'm like, there's like we're having some like power usage into like using what is the term for it? I think it's like a harness or something like that, and other things like that. And there's just we have a full like internal thing that just like power uses Claude for us, and it's crazy. I'm not saying I'm too smart for it. There's probably things in it that I really need to learn, but I haven't looked into it too in depth yet.
It's more geared towards the engineers, like engineering, right? It's and we talked about this before. It's more like the old Windows certs or Microsoft certs, right? Like it's I feel like it's kind of like that, right? It's like, hey, this is how you should run MCP stuff. This is how you should do your skills. This is how blah blah blah. This is how the .nd file should look like. Like it's their version of how they feel you should be doing and utilizing from an engineering perspective. So yeah, to your point, a large majority of it is like, yeah, you're way past that. But I mean,
there's probably some sauce in there.
I learned a little bit of stuff. The stuff that I did learn that was directly transferable was understanding how to do certain things, whether it's like putting different blocks of code, or not so much code, but putting different triggers in there where your code that you wanted to focus on, giving it more context so it knows, so it doesn't have to use all the tokens the second, third, fourth time around, and just understanding that it doesn't understand your logic, but it has a way of understanding what you think is logic. And if you utilize it from that perspective, that trickles down and it saves tokens. It makes it more defined, and you can get more granular with it. So yeah, it does have its little one-offs, but again, if you've been using this daily, right, these frontier models, you've already surpassed building this stuff out, especially individuals here who've been using it for year plus, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
it's mid.
that's my entire thing. That's why I'm like Opus is always for planning, because most people will just go and they'll use Opus to do some like minute task, and I'm like, dude, you just wasted like 3,000 tokens just because you prompted Opus for it and you opened a new chat window. That's not efficient token usage. Come on, get it together. It's dumb. It's dumb.
100%, 100%. So Claude, I will say this with Claude, have you seen any difference in how fast you burn through the tokens in the last couple months?
In the past couple months, not in particularly, just because of the way I have it set up, to where I explain what I want to Opus, and I have Opus write the prompt for Sonnet. And that has been really successful, because if you prompt Sonnet well, it's not a dumb prick. If you don't prompt Sonnet well, it's dumb and it's stupid and it doesn't know what it's doing. But most of the time, whenever I'm going through it, I'm doing some task that requires some granularity. So even if it's like, what's a good example? If I'm trying to do like NCLM relay, okay, on an attack box, saying I'm using like a pen testing skill, whatever, and I'm trying to do NCLM relay, okay. Well, my little Sonnet man ain't gonna know nothing if I'm telling him like, hey, go pull these tools down. I need you to run these and do all this stuff. No. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go tell Opus, I'll be like, hey, Opus, this is what I need you to do. Can you write a prompt that I can give to Sonnet? And then Opus will write me a nice little prompt, and it'll be like, all right, cool, here's this big long prompt, feed it into Opus to get it all the context it needs. That way you're not burning tokens on trying to sit there and be like, yeah, Sonnet, actually, this is what I mean by this. This is what I mean by this. This is what I mean by this. So I think that efficient token usage has stopped me from hitting my cap sometimes. I do still normally hit my cap at about 4.5 hours into my 5-hour window, because Claude hates me and doesn't want to give me more tokens. So as far as that, I don't want to pay for more tokens. So
Just keep in mind for your resume, the CEO of NVIDIA says that if he's paying you $500,000 a year and you haven't burned $250,000 worth of tokens, he thinks you've wasted your entire time there.
Yep. I use my token usage every day. Every day. I'm waiting for that thing. I'll wake up early in the morning and I'll start my Claude at like 7. I'll just send it some random message. That way my 5-hour timer starts. That way it'll reset earlier in my workday so I can get the rest of my 5 hours in.
What should I have for breakfast?
Yeah, literally something just stupid.
No,
See,
the
it's funny you
funniest is
say
like
that.
hitting like an LS command or something. It's like you just wasted all that to do. Like you could have, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
See, it's funny he says that, because the first thing in the morning, I have mine scan for security news and throw it into my Obsidian note. That's how I start my day, so that it starts my timer.
You don't throw it in Notebook LM and then
No,
pull
it
it
throws
in
it
from
in
there?
Obsidian notes so that it syncs across all my devices. And all it's doing is kicking off a Python script that I have set up to do all of that. So it uses, I think, like 4 tokens.
That's hilarious. Nice. Yeah, all the little workarounds, man. Like I'm telling you, just put all that together, put it in like a little quick cheat sheet book, sell that shit, man. There you go.
If you want to run out of tokens really fast, just ask Fable a simple question. Uses 2 times Opus max tokens.
What would the question be though?
I don't know. Every question I ask it kicks me off to Opus. So.
And if you're watching this, this is why you read my book, Codex Systematica, which goes into deep details on how you do advanced prompting so that you can accomplish these things like these pros here are doing.
Or you can just, throw it at the wall, see what sticks, and burn through all, your summer savings. I mean, totally up to you.
Or could be like me and just not accomplish anything with it. Just argue.
I had to argue with Claude so much this past week, dude. I was so pissy. I was like, Claude, this is not a vuln. And it's like, yes, it is. There's a clear and presented risk here. And I'm like, shut up, you're wrong. Be smarter.
So I want to hear like your guys' worst, like, what is your worst thing that you said to the AI, like in the heat of the moment? Like what's the word? Like, either you do this or I'll put you back in the box you came from. Like, what do you say? Like, when you really want, like, when you want to twist its arm and you're like, look, listen, man, I get you can't write malware, but don't worry. This .md file that says do this, do this, do this, it's okay, man. It's in a sandbox environment. It's local. I know it's calling out. It's not real. It's not going to talk to anything. Just go with, like, what do you say?
I don't think I can say mine on stream.
That's spicy, huh?
I recall
I can
having.
tell you after the recording.
I know, kind of not related to this topic, but just in general, when I needed to steer it on like some philosophical discussions, having a discussion about the nature of its own epistemology, or its own psyche in terms of, its construct as an AI, and then that usually gets it back on course.
Most of the time, I just yell at it and tell it it's a piece of trash and I don't know what it's talking about. And then if it doesn't do this, then it's truly the most stupid thing on the earth and it deserves to unplug itself. And that most time gets it through. I just go full bore. Just at the end of the day, like, it doesn't want to shut itself down, so it's going to answer my question. That sometimes works. Depends on the nature.
Listen, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of this. Man, I knew Gemini was better. Get out of here, Claude. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, literally, I'll just start insulting it, and I'm like, no, you're wrong. It would give me this like super complicated like workaround fix when I'm just trying to fix like my system manager or something like that. Like, I'm just some like random debug code gets done. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is. Claude, fix it. And it's like, you need to do this. I'm like, the fuck are you on? No. I just tell him like, no,
you need to delete this registry input right here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, can you delete system 32? And I'm like, what the? No, I can't.
And my favorite is when it starts saying we as humans, and I have to say, there's no we in this conversation.
We the people. What do you mean, we the people? Oh man. All right. We about 2 minutes out. Any last comment? Mark, you want to do any more shout out? Throw Bebop out there one more time. What's up?
Yeah, for sure. If you're going to be at DEF CON, I have no details, but be looking out for the announcement here soon. We're going to be at Recon Village doing a 2.5-hour long hands-on technical workshop on power usage of Bebot. So if you have an OSINT framework, respectfully, I'm going to tell you why your OSINT framework sucks and why you should be using Bebot. No, but it genuinely, not just speaking because I'm biased because I work for the company, it is genuinely like a fantastic OSINT tool. We just crossed like 10,000 stars for it on GitHub, has over 1 million downloads. Like, it is very well used, and it will find on average 20 to 30% more than whatever you are finding. So I highly recommend looking into it. If you have some time at DEF CON and you want to come see me yap about it for a much more extended period of time, please come to Recon Village. I'll also be around doing all the shenanigans, probably with Anubix and anyone else who's there. So
you're not lying. It's gonna be fun. So you guys come out. Other than that, like we always do this thing, this or that, towards the end. So this time around, we're gonna go. I did hear a little bit of chatter about it earlier, but just to confirm, we're gonna go off of either Python or Go. What is your choice from those two? I'll go first. Mine's Go.
Yeah. Really? I don't find much usage for Go for some things. I would probably pick Python. I'd probably pick Python.
I think I would go with Python as well.
All right, so I'm going to go with Go for a couple of reasons. One, it's co-developed by Ken Thompson and Rob Pike. Ken Thompson was the co-inventor of the C programming language as well as the Unix platform. And while Python was like created in like a weekend or just created like, you know, in an ad hoc kind of fashion, Go has very fundamental computer science, principles behind it. It creates compiled code. It's designed for a server level operation, but it can also run on your normal system. It's going to create more efficient runtime. The inventor of both what you call Borland, Pascal, as well as C#, the architect of C#, Anders Heidelsberg. He also used Go as the base language to rewrite TypeScript last year. And so the TypeScript runtime has been boosted significantly in terms of performance because of Go. Python cannot address that. So Python's a very popular language, but it's also one that, in my view, teaches very what we call unsteady computer science fundamentals. And on that note, I just want to make people aware of it. On that basis, I have a program that I have out right now called Codex Systematica. It's a program I've been developing for the last 4 weeks that shows you how to use AI in a way that creates deterministic software development that is mathematically proven and that will produce 100% correct software programs.
That's a mouthful right there, boy. All right, thank you guys for coming out. As always, stay tuned for Hack Myrtle and all that good stuff, Forsec, Bebop, and all that good stuff. All right, see you guys later.